Contorted.
I'm gonna sit in here first. Okay, this is gonna be.
Put your feet up onto that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back. I just want to check. Right, do you have any more room to the left?
Of course, yeah, loads here.
Right.
But that'll give a bit. It'll come back a bit. Yeah, you'll have to see more.
I think we're both gonna be in this one. So you're okay with all the questions?
Okay, there's no answer. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They're kind of similar to a lot of the stuff I've seen you talk about before. Okay guys, what is up? Welcome to another Q&A with another fitness coach. Today we have Dan Ryan from Titan Fit, which is in 2 Mile House, Naas, County Kildare. So we have a number of questions that have been sent in to me through social media. So if you do have any questions for future episodes of this is called Coach Meets Coach. So it's me traveling around to meet experienced coaches like Dan and Niall you've seen before. You've seen Coach Gav as well before I embark on my own coaching journey. So without further ado, I'll just let Dan here introduce himself to you guys and maybe just a quick overview of what his gym is.
Hey, I'm Dan Ryan. We're at Titan Fit here. I'm a physical therapist and a trainer. I've been working in the industry for guts of 8 or 9 years. And so basically if we're talking about philosophy with the gym, the core philosophy is I kind of merge a lot of what I do in my physical therapy in with the training aspects of it, because I did a lot of practical stuff to rugby when I was starting off. So I've kind of merged the two concepts in a way together. So the whole thing about it is our tagline is "We train smart." Training smart is in terms of being efficient with how you use your body and doing just what you need to do to get a result. So I guess what we're saying is we to start it off, we usually make sure people during an assessment phase, we make sure that people can move cleanly. And what does that mean? Well, that means really that their ability to move their joints, hips, shoulders, neck, are moving well without sharp pains or any problems like that they're really niggles kind of that they're catching them. And if they can't do those things, we give them the skills and the tools to actually do that themselves, or they come into me for a bit of extra help doing the physical therapy. But once we feel that they're happy to that, they've done the beginner program, we have it. The structure is a little different. So we have it's only classes only. So each class offers a different element of fitness. So you can mix and match the classes to make up your own kind of program. Because it's not to say that one type of training is better than any other. Because there is a collective intelligence is always the best way to use the best out of each type of training. So that's kind of our general overview of how we work it.
Good stuff. So that kind of ticks off one of the questions, but that is one thing that I like about this gym is they obviously Dan's background is in physiotherapy, so kind of injury prevention, injury treatment, stuff like that. So you'll see it a lot. I've seen Dominic Munnelly talking about it as well, as when people go to you as a coach, not to just give them a program or whatever, but to actually assess their mobility and their general health, because people spend so long kind of, if they're not training, damaging themselves. You're getting up, you're sitting in the car, going to work, you're sitting at your office, you're coming home, you're sitting on the couch, and that's not what we're designed to do as human beings. So I'll kick it off here. A lot of stuff I've seen with Dan is kind of really focused around healthy eating, as opposed to some stuff you'll see more flexible dieting, but Dan's approach is more to do with health. So the first question is kind of, what's your nutrition rules, or kind of if you could discuss a bit about the paleo, because I've seen you discussing paleo before.
So it's very easy, first of all, to say that you can get very romantic on the paleo kind of notion. While I believe it's a really good core concept, like the work, no matter what kind of diet you're into, the core principles of reducing carbs and obviously sugar as part of that, and trying to keep your energy level basically sustained instead of going up and down, spiking. The paleo diet really seems to do that. The only thing is, I was strict initially at first, and my thing about it is if you can do it strictly for, let's say, a period of 4 to 8 weeks, do it really right. It's more about actually your ability to mentally have the discipline to actually do it, rather than what necessarily the foods are. If I'm going to take out this cheese or whatever, butter, milk, all those things out of your diet, and you can do that consistently for those time frames, then you have control of what your decision making is, and that's half the battle with any diet is being able to have the mental strength to actually know that you can avoid certain things at certain times, and that's a big part of it. So for me, we do have a template, a kind of general rules for eating, like I mentioned, the cheese, milk, eggs, like a lot of the things that were on the Irish food pyramid, I believe aren't great. Like as a baseline for your eating is like at the start it says like, you know, bread is really important, milk and all those essentials. Effectively, that the reason that is because the government produced most of that, and that's fine. However, it's not the best for our health. A lot of, you know, so yeah. So I guess like anything specific on that?
No, I think what Dan said first is so important. When he was first doing paleo, he was very strict towards it, but really it's kind of the core principles of it can be adapted into an overall approach. And like when I hear someone say I'm on the paleo diet, or I'm doing flexible dieting, or you know, the ketosis diet, or whatever diet it is, it's good that you're actually taking in that sense, that you're actually focused on your food, because no matter what style of eating, at least you're focusing, it's, you know, it's coming down to your health and keeping a healthy body. So the principles of paleo are great. You eat, you know, plant-based foods, you eat nuts, you eat seeds, did I say fruits, and then you know, meat. So it's generally very healthy. Another point like that Dan said is a lot of the food kind of that's high in sugar, high in wheat, is spiking your insulin every time you eat that food, so it's causing more cravings shortly after, whereas you know, a lot of the greens, stuff like that, is more alkalizing effect, so it's keeping your blood sugars stable. So I think the core principles of paleo are very good, but don't be worried if you can't stick to it. Just adapt the elements from it that you like.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's it. I was reading through Dan's website, titanfit.ie, and there is a section on nutritional guidelines which kind of goes over the approach in Titan Fit. So the next question there is, this is just one I threw in myself, because I see a lot of it in the shops, and recently there was an article out about, you know, gluten-free, wheat-free. So another area there I would say is the organic products. So I was going to ask Dan, do you think it's important to shop organic or to buy organic products?
I think you can be smart about it. Not everything, like people over romanticize organic as well. We'd be way worse off for health if everything was that detrimental to us than that it seems to be. But I do believe organic obviously is going to be a lot better. I think there's a few things you can check with. For example, like the likes of fish. There's some common sense principles behind even what you can see in, like, when food, if like for example if the fish is different colours, it kind of changed, it's more like raw looking, or it's been kind of half pink, half kind of normal colour, it usually means that in transport it's been defrosted a little bit as it came through, and the quality of that kind of fish won't be as good as your fresh fish you're getting at like a fishmonger's. That's an example of, like, say, organic versus non-organic in that way. A lot of the things like salmon and things like that are the fish is just injected to make it look like it has that dye, that colour, that pink colour, and so that wouldn't be good quality. I mean, the basis behind, like if you were to get organic chicken, for example, it costs a bomb. It does cost quite a lot, and even though we should, I feel like anything, even if it's not that good for you, just to have less of it, I guess. Especially when it's not 100% organic. It's not realistic to be able to eat everything organic, because they do try and bump it up because of the elite kind of nature it's being categorised in. But yeah, like there's loads of things. Like organic, I would say definitely is the way to go if you can afford it. But there is budget ways of really getting around it as well in the shops. Fruits and veg, generally speaking, are pretty good no matter what. Like the likes of apples, there's a lot of pesticides on that. There's sprays, ever tasted on it. A really nice trick for that is actually steeping it in water overnight, your fruit, and it actually takes a lot of that out of it.
Yes.
So that's quite useful. So there's ways of making things a little healthier if you need to. But like for the likes of like packed ham and different things like that, that is the worst kind of stuff you can eat. It really is awful. If it doesn't look like anything the animal whatever came from, you know it's processed to crap, and then you know it's going to be pretty awful for you. Like they're the common sense things. Like, you know, so like if you even check with bread, things like that. If you were to roll up bread, like really mash it up into a ball and put it onto the table, you'll find it'll start doing that, and that's exactly what it does in your stomach, as opposed to breaking off some of the nicer, better brown bread, whole grain stuff. So you can tell, there's that kind of ways and little tricks around it to figure it out. So
okay, not too much to add to that, guys. I would say some of the organic stuff is outrageously expensive, so unless you're earning a very, very, very high income, I don't think it's necessary necessarily that you have to buy that. Whereas stuff like, you know, you might see organic oats is 179, whereas the other oats are 149 or whatever. Maybe get it, but again, I mean, I don't know if there's that much harm in buying stuff, especially fruits and vegetables. If you just think about the big picture and you're not eating junk food or fast food or, you know, chicken fillet rolls or takeaways, you know, if you're eating real food, regardless of whether it's organic or not, you're doing pretty good. So don't look into that one too much. So we've kind of touched on the training philosophy, and then after that, I just noticed a bit of stuff on Dan's page with movement, and I think you've met Ido Portal before, is that correct? If you don't know who he is, a really, really cool coach. He's trained with Conor McGregor, stuff like that. You'll know when you see the ponytail and stuff. So I was just going to ask, Dan, where did you first learn about movement, or do you adapt some of that into your training philosophy here in Titan Fit?
Well, so I guess the reason I kind of came up with the concept, well, I didn't come up with it, but I've adapted and used a lot of the core concepts of the movement side of things, is that when I was playing rugby, I could lift a lot of weight, but I wasn't able to do anything functional at all. I was still in pain, and my back was still sore. I found pull-ups even hard. I could do loads of bench and loads of squats. Well, that was all good when it came to competition and getting your numbers right. It was kind of useless in reality, and I wasn't able to turn around properly because my shoulders were so tight. I couldn't bring my arms straight over my head like that without kind of just restriction. So I knew there was more to life than just this kind of quick pump and then you see how you get on. So that kind of inspired me to figure out, look, because I did gymnastics for a few years when I was younger, and that really, like, just so amazing, the gymnastics. So generally speaking, it's very, very good. But so I kind of reminded me I could go back into that kind of thing. So that's what really inspired me to get into the movement side of things. And I have an existing hip issue that I've had since I was very, very young, and it affects me in my back and in different parts of my core and everything. So that's really, ever since I started moving cleaner and trying to get into that movement based approach, it's been huge. Really, it's been hugely beneficial, you know.
Excellent. All I'd add to that, guys, my own approach to movement is to focus on functional movements and to do a lot of stretching, a lot of trigger point release, a lot of dynamic static stretching, and to avoid machines. You know, I do use machines every now and then to isolate some muscles, but I don't do it a lot. If I was ever to open a gym, I really wouldn't be getting too many machines in there. I'd focus on functional body weight movements, and then obviously your compound exercises. But again, like I said, with the whole doing damage to our bodies, like if you look at babies and how they move, you know, you see them squat down, it's amazing. Whereas you ask someone who's been working for 10 years to do that, and I think it would be very difficult.
Can I just add to that? Actually, is that so that the whole thing about machine based weights versus free weights and or body weight training. The thing about it is it's a very simple concept. Actually, how I explain to people when they come in here. It's reverse engineering for your body if you isolate muscles, because you're teaching it to work for short periods of times through little ranges. If you can tell your body that it's working as a whole and through collective intelligence of everything, it sort of learns the patterns and figures it out as your brain actually develops better because there's more neural input. That's really what's happening. So when you do, like, you ever see like some big bodybuilder guys, they'll do like big curls, they'll lift from 50 kilos, and that's great, it looks cool and they look jacked. The issue is, if you ask them, okay, bring that 50 kilos to the other side of the room, they can't do it, because all they've taught their nervous system is to lift, maximal lift per second and rest, maximal lift and rest, which gives you a pump effect, but in terms of strength, it doesn't really do it for you. It doesn't actually give you a real strength. Like if you look at gymnasts, what they can do is their time under tension is huge for a long period of time. That's why they're so powerful. They are toned and everything, but they're not overly swole looking. They're actually proportionately strong because of that kind of approach, you know.
Excellent. So that's that one answered, guys, on so the importance of movement. The next question is, I'll put these two together because they're very similar. What's the best way to warm up pre-workout? And then if you are having mobility issues, how do you improve your mobility? So it's kind of similar enough stuff there. So the best way to warm up and how to improve your mobility.
So and this is a really important note, actually, really important, I think, because a lot of trainers, what they'll do is there's two ways you can warm up, and that's actually the first thing to remember. Warming up is actually the physical body temperature raising. That's actually warming the body. That's fine, but that's not sufficient enough. If you're doing a jog on the spot, or people on the treadmill doing a jog and stuff. Well, all that's fine. It's going to warm them up. But it's, if you think of movement patterns, I talk about movement patterns a lot, and you're teaching the body to do one set movement pattern, and it's supposed to understand a load of various other ones just because you did a run on the treadmill, which it never will, because there's nothing relative to what the activity is going to be. So two things with the warm-ups: you can do a bit of that kind of jog on the spot, kind of whatever, jumping jacks, whatever it is. That's all good, but you need to be able to bring. Here's the core concept: you need to be able to bring your joints to full motion or near full motion while your body weight's going through it, or most of your body weight. If you can do that with every joint you have, you've reached, in my opinion, true fitness and health for your body. They're different things, but overall, your body will never need to be able to do any more than be able to bring your joint through full motion while it has weight through it. All the joints, whether it's your hip, your shoulder, whatever, your ankles. If they can do those, you're going to find it very easy to do other things. That's the hardest bit, really. So that's the other type of the warm up you would do. You do a series of dynamic movements that involve kind of those things where there's weight to it, bringing the joints to range. That's what we do. A huge part of what we do, and then we finish off with a bit of the kind of cardio type stuff just to bring the temperature right up.
Okay, good. Again, like guys, that's an excellent answer, and the only thing I can add is, I think I said it in the video last week, was a lot of the warming up for doing the exercise is kind of your neuromuscular feedback, getting those joints and getting into the rhythm of doing those movements. So like jumping on a treadmill, for a lot of people, like I seen a class recently in a gym I was in, and the trainer it was a kids class, just got the 10 kids just jump on a cross trainer treadmill and do 5-10 minute warm up. But that's not specific to, if they're going in doing functional movements, then you might run the risk there, perhaps an injury occurring or whatever. So stuff specific to what you are doing in the gym. Lastly, I think there's just one more question. What are the benefits? Okay, so we'll go, there's 2 questions left. I'm just going to take one and then we'll get in and get the workout underway. And I'll go with, how often should someone train? So this is a question that I get a lot. So Dan, from your experience, you're doing this 10 years, I think. I was trying to estimate, like you're probably doing this about 10 years now.
Roughly all on training and everything.
Yeah. So what is kind of optimal for someone, or maybe someone needs a very busy lifestyle. You might have people in here that are working 9 to 9 some days, busy jobs. So kind of what is optimal, and then what is like a realistic that you should be doing.
Yeah. So that's an interesting word, optimal, and that is important, because someone who's been on the couch for, they're 40 years of age, comes into me, and they want to get lean, they want to look like a magazine person. Their approach will be a little different for them than an 18-year-old who's been playing sport, who just wants to keep going. And it does come back to neural input. So what that means is, if you learn the movements properly, and just basic warm-up techniques right, and stretching right, and learn those patterns with no weight necessarily, if you learn them right, the fitness bit is always the easy bit. So going to the different varied types of people, what's optimum for someone else, they might need more neural input, they might need more patterns to learn the same pattern, reiterate those patterns more than someone who's been doing it for years. And when they learn those patterns more, then all they can do is they can actually speed up the amount they actually train. So if you're so basically, when someone comes in the door, if instead of giving them like a hit session and killing them until they've never done anything, what you need to do with those people is, you need to say, okay, can you do the basic movements first? Are you moving cleanly? And once they can do that, they learn the movement patterns of the exercises. Once they get that done, then you can play around with the intensities to kind of raise it up and work that way,
Okay. Excellent answer. Just something that sprung to mind while Dan was saying there, like people trying to start off with HIIT, and that's why I always say, if you're doing HIIT and stuff, it's kind of an advanced, like if you see me doing plyometric jumps, I'll make sure and say, look, this is advanced stuff. You don't want someone going in there. I was training with someone recently who was starting off, they were 137 kilos and they were killing themselves, and I was just like, this is not the way to do it. Also in gyms, you'll see, like in a lot of the classes, you'll have 30 people doing a class. They'll all be different fitness levels, but they'll all be told 20 burpees, do it now, and you'll have people there that can't do
the pain.
That's an advanced exercise. So like Dan said, see if you can do the basic movements first, start with the basic stuff and gradually build up to it. That's it for the Q&A. We're going to go in and do a workout, so thanks to Dan for answering our questions.
Thank you.
I hope you guys got use out of that video. Make sure and like it, or if you have any other questions on any of the topics we discussed, just drop a comment below and subscribe for more. Thank you guys.
Brief. I can never be complacent with the lies, no complicit with the evil and spirit you keep inside. People surprised that whether this vibe like a compassionate passer upon the pages, surpassing what you've been asking while passing up in the moment. I live inside of the beat. The point I wanna get across is I'm not accepting defeated. The feeling of being depleted when all I really needed was a little bit of help. I never got it, but